Alright, hey, it's Mega here. So today I'm shooting a video on how to install the rear lift spacers from Prius Off-Road. Okay, I'm wearing a Prius Off-Road t-shirt right now. On your second gen Toyota Prius, okay? I'm only doing the rear, okay? So yesterday I took the whole interior apart. You're gonna have to do that. I made a separate video on how to do that, and I will put a link in the description if you guys didn't watch it. On the bottom, so check that out if you want to, because you have to take the rear interior apart, okay? So if I open my Prius right now, there's no rear interior. Most of it is gone, okay? So yeah, so now is the fun part, is the part where we get to the suspension bits, okay? So Toyota made it so you have to do all this work just to get to the top mounting bolts and nuts for the rear shock, okay? So let's hop to it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your Prius in the state that mine is in right now, okay? Basically, all the rear interior panels are off, okay? Most of it, okay? You've got to take these brackets off, okay? To be able to access this, and to get to these brackets, you need to take the whole interior apart, okay? All right, so yeah, there's 3 bolts on the top and then 1 bolt on the bottom, okay? Or there's 2 nuts and 1 bolt, okay? This Mega's done this before, so it's not my first rodeo. Okay, so what you're gonna want to do first is get your car, after you've stripped your interior, you're gonna want to get your car up in the air. Get the rear of the car up in the air so you can remove the wheels. You don't have to jack it too high, you know, just enough to get the wheels off the ground, okay? And I use the jack to jack it up, and then the jack stands are holding it up right now, okay? I have the jacks where you would put the the emergency jack, this guy, okay? The jack stands, I mean. Okay, so the next thing to do would be to take the wheels off. All right, let's go. All right, so on my car it's a 21 millimeter to remove them. It should pretty much be the same for all Priuses. Also want to point out that I'm using slightly taller tires than stock. I'm running a 205 55/16 tire on some Celica GTS wheels. The correct size should actually be a 205 50/16, but I decided to go with the taller size so I'd have more ground clearance. See, so so I wouldn't scrape so much, and I like it. I like it a lot better. Okay, so this is the instructions from Prius Off-Road on how to install the lift kit. So we're going to go to here, rear installation Gen 2. That's what we're doing right now. So the first step is kind of vague. It just says remove interior trim to access struts. So that's what I did in the last video. Okay, so if you guys didn't see that, check that video out. It's a lot of work. It's literally, it's more work than working on the strut itself. Okay, and then remove the top nuts on rear struts. Okay, I did not do that. I kind of skipped that, and I hit the raise and support vehicle under frame. Okay, so that's what it, and then we remove the wheels and set aside. Now we're going to remove the 14 millimeter bolt and, well, remove the top nuts on rear struts. Okay, I don't know what that means. We'll find out, I guess. So it says remove the 14 millimeter bolt and nuts at the top of the strut. Okay, so I was going to do the bottom first, but it says to do the tops. Let's just do it. We'll do it the way the manual says. I've already kind of messed up, but okay. So remove 14 millimeter bolts and nuts at the top of the strut. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so the 14 millimeter nuts they're referring to are these ones. Okay, so these are the 2 nuts. There's 1 nut here, and there's 1 nut down there. Okay, right there. Okay, and then there's a bolt on the outside. Okay, so we're gonna have to work inside and outside. Okay, it's kind of a weird design that Toyota made. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, let's do the bolts first, okay? The location of one of the bolts is, right here, okay? I think it's a 14 millimeter, alright? You're probably going to have to use some kind of extension to get to it. Try your best. And these are the stock OEM shocks. I've replaced them, but I replaced them with the stock OEM shocks. Supposedly those are the best shocks for a second gen Prius. All right. Okay, it helps to have some kind of long kind of socket or a deep socket with an extension. Okay, it's kind of hard to get in there. Okay. Okay, we'll do this one a little closer up. Bunch of dirt comes out too. Okay. Okay, so you can see the bolt is not sticking out of the top anymore. Right here. Okay. We're gonna go take this out now. Okay. Let's take the other one out. The other one is just hiding back there. I'm gonna do it blind. Come around one side of the front. Hit this one right here. Top is loose. Make sure you don't lose that nut. Just put it right there. Okay, this one is going to go across here. This one's a little easier because the hybrid battery isn't in the way. Just make sure you collect that nut that fell out. Okay, next step. So we removed the 14mm nuts at the top of the strut. Now we're going to loosen the 19mm nut and remove strut. Okay, that's like kind of 2 steps in one. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take this nut off, okay, right here. Okay, there's the nut and there's the washer. Both come off, and then you should be able to take the strut out now. Alright, all you got to do to take the strut out is just press out the bottom part and then drop it. Okay. You might be a little stubborn and might not want to come out, so you can use a pry bar very carefully. Boom. Oh man, you really have to bend the shock that much just to get this out. Oh, there we go. Okay, just like that. The other side started coming down. Okay. Okay, did you get that? So to help get it out, you got to press down on this kind of swing arm here, okay? And then the whole thing will kind of drop, and then you can press it out of the stud right here, okay? All right, there it is. There's the right one. Let's do the left one next. Okay, I'm gonna do this one from this angle. I'm gonna take the nut out the back. Okay. Washer comes out. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you what I did to get this out. So you're gonna have to bend the shock shaft a whole lot if you want to get it out like this. Secret to getting this out: drop the whole arm here, okay, the swing arm assembly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I got a jack to support it, but I'm gonna lower the jack a little bit. Okay, not too much. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is push down on the swing arm, and then the whole shock should go down with it, okay? And then you can get it out, okay? So, got it? Let's do it. So you want to push forward that way so you can get it off the stud. Pressing down. It's cleared. Oh yeah, hold on. I think before you do this, go get your pry bar. And get your pry bar and remove. There you go. Okay, remove the bottom of the shock first. Okay, and then you can drop it. Okay, there, then it comes out. All right, pretty easy. There it is. So make sure you don't mix up the shocks, okay? The right one can only go on the right one, and the left one can only go on the left one. Or in America, the passenger one, and then the driver one, okay? All right, welcome to my workbench where the magic is gonna happen, okay? Okay, so here we got the strut spacers right here. I got the fasteners from the kit right here. I have the old fasteners right here, okay? And this is the driver's side strut. Okay, this is the driver's side rear strut, okay? And I've got it on the vise so it's easier to work on. Okay, we don't have to mess with any of this stuff down here, just the stuff that's on top, okay? It's pretty obvious which one goes where, okay? So this is the driver's side one. This one is... Okay, so the manual says to attach the rear passenger and driver spacer to the body, okay? I think it would be easier to do it the other way around. Attach it to the strut first, then put it on the body. Okay, so I'm going to modify it a little bit. The spacers are side specific, so how you know which side is what is the D has the driver's side, okay, the B is the driver's side, and the P is the passenger side. Okay, so this one here is the driver's side. So that's how you want it on there, okay? Okay, so here it says use the OEM nuts on spacer studs if using the aftermarket struts. Okay, so that's a good question. Do they mean to use the OEM nuts on these studs, or the studs that are on? I'm not really sure, man. I think. Okay, so I think what they're saying in the manual is to use these nuts. Okay. On the spacer struts right here. Okay, where the spacer mounts onto the strut. Okay. Because it has already like some spacers on it built into it. Okay, so like a really huge nut is what it is. Okay, so to make it similar to that, they gave you a spacer. I guess they couldn't find the same ones, or they couldn't. They didn't include the Toyota OEM ones. Okay, so so here we got our driver's side strut. Okay, and we're gonna put our strut spacer on there. Okay, and then we're gonna use the OEM Toyota nuts to bolt onto the strut spacer. Bolt the strut spacer to the top of the strut. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. Actually, don't tighten it all the way yet, because you're going to have to pull up on it enough so you can get this nut in there. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to tighten the. We're just going to tighten the studs first, okay? You can't do the bolt yet, okay? Try to tighten that as tight as possible, and we're going to torque it. Okay. Yeah, how are we going to torque it? Yeah, this is kind of difficult. There's not a lot of space to work with, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay, so the way this thing is designed, it makes it very difficult to torque the bolts, okay? Something that was so easy before, it makes it not easy anymore. Okay, so this has to be torqued to 60 foot-pounds. I don't know how we're gonna do it. All I'm gonna do is just tighten it as tight as I can. If I tighten it with it on the vise like this, it's just gonna spin, you know, and it might mess up the shock, okay? So we're not gonna do that. Okay, so all I can really do is just tighten it as tight as I can, because when we get this on the car, this is gonna be in the way. There's going to be a bolt going through here, okay? So I'm just going to try to snug it as best as I can, okay, without twisting too much on the shock. Okay, that's the best I can do. The other one, it looks like we can torque it while it's on the car, but I'm going to try to tighten it as tight as I can tighten it. Okay. I'm going to try to tighten it as tight as I can tighten it while it's on here, okay? Okay. That's very awkward. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, see, the whole thing just starts spinning. That's what I'm talking about. If this is in the car, it'd be easy to do, okay? So maybe that's why they tell you to put it in the car first, but there's no way you're going to be able to torque that back one, so torque the back one as tight as you can make it first. Okay, I think that's as tight as you're gonna be able to make it. You definitely don't want that coming loose, okay? Okay, so now we'll go put it back on the car.